At 3 a.m., the silence of the night shift is suddenly broken by a single, critical dashboard alert. An internal HR server is currently pushing 50 gigabytes of data to an unknown foreign IP address. At this scale, the primary objective is to determine if this is a routine, albeit poorly timed, maintenance task, or an active exfiltration of payroll data. Most beginners freeze in this gap between the alert and the response. Without a clear starting point, it's easy to panic and make a choice, like shutting down a production server, that causes more damage than the event itself. Resolving this doesn't require luck. It requires the step-by-step deductive process used by a seasoned SOC analyst to isolate the facts from the noise. The first rule of the analyst mindset is to attempt to prove the activity is normal before assuming a breach has occurred. We start by identifying the ports and protocols in use. These technical markers tell us the nature of the conversation happening between these two systems. Data flows over port 443, suggesting our first hypothesis, an automated AWS cloud backup. Because 443 encrypts web traffic, we can't inspect actual file names, only volume and destination. Checking the IT maintenance schedule reveals the 3 a.m. window is completely empty, no backups authorized. With no scheduled maintenance to explain the 50 gigabyte spike, the benign hypothesis is no longer viable. We have an unauthorized anomaly that requires immediate escalation. Since the data itself is hidden by encryption, we look at the identity behind the connection. We need to find the specific user account that triggered this transfer. We pull the user login telemetry to build a timeline of who was active on the network leading up to the alert. The logs show the primary HR administrator's account successfully logged in from an IP address located in New York. 10 minutes after that New York login, the same account authenticated into a different system from an IP address in London. We call this impossible travel. Since a human cannot cross the Atlantic in 10 minutes, we conclude the administrator's credentials have been hijacked. The attacker likely harvested the password through a phishing campaign, allowing them to bypass outer defenses and move laterally into the HR environment. The 3 a.m. mystery is solved. A threat actor is using a stolen identity to pull sensitive files out of the network while masquerading as standard web traffic. Now that we've confirmed the threat, we move to stop the data loss. We isolate the HR server to sever the connection to the foreign IP and immediately trigger a forced password reset on the compromised account to eject the attacker. Incidents like this demonstrate that technical knowledge is only half the battle. High-level analysis relies on the discipline to follow a data-driven hypothesis. We didn't need to see the encrypted files to understand the breach. We just needed to track the inconsistencies in the telemetry. That methodical approach is the core of the analyst mindset. Subscribe to join us for the next investigation and continue refining your analytical skills.